Hello and welcome. We're taking another ride, and this time we're back home in the Yakima area. Hi, I'm Arnie, and this is eBike Advocate, and here we talk e-bikes, we go for rides, we do reviews on accessories. If you're into any of that, why don't you consider subscribing? Just click that big red subscribe button. Click the bell icon so you won't miss anything, very important. And give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, share, all of that stuff. We're trying to rebuild some momentum after a several month hiatus, so your help is appreciated. So yes, we're back in Yakima area. Today we're taking a ride along the Greenway out to Selah and hopefully out into the country a little bit. Farmland, orchards, pretty nice up on the hill. We have to climb Crusher Canyon to do that. The aquatic center out here in Selah is open. At any rate, so we're going to turn up Crusher Canyon and see if we can get by. The last time I tried, a couple weeks ago, they were working on it. The road was closed. Wow, it's windy. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm kind of getting pushed around here a little bit. Now at this stop sign, we're gonna make a left. And pretty quickly, we'll start climbing. Holy smoke! So, there's often a debate, which is worse, riding into a headwind or climbing hills. I've always said climbing or riding into a headwind is worse. Oh, it still says road closed, so we're going to see here. Oops. But worse yet is what I'm getting right now. Climbing this hill into a headwind. What a drag. But we're making a respectable 8.5 miles an hour right now. So that's not too bad. Although there's a couple of places, well, one place in particular where the pitch changes pretty dramatically. But we may not even be able to get that far if that sign was accurate. Can't imagine what they're doing that it would be closed as long as it has been. It's been, oh gosh, 2 to 3 weeks, I think, since I tried to come up this way. And it must be truly closed, because normally I would be passed by a number of cars at this point, and that was the first one since starting this climb. Well, keep your fingers crossed, we'll see. Hard to keep up a conversation climbing Crusher Canyon, even with an e-bike. Now, some people have, well, they're not working. It does say closed, but I think I can squeeze by on the bike. Some people here in the US and Canada, at any rate, have bikes with throttles. And my previous bike had one. And I know some people who solely use the throttle. Well, mine is a class 3 high-speed pedelec, and it's great. I can climb just about anything with the gearing it's got, but I do have to keep pedaling, or like any other bicycle, you come to a dead and abrupt stop. Camera turned itself off there momentarily. Don't understand why. Now you can see the other lane. It's all gravel, so it's not just a small portion of this road that they're working on. It's going on up the hill. I wonder what the plan is, if they're going to repave this side too. Oh, they are working up there. Shucks, I may not be able to get by. Guess we'll find out when we get up there. I'm sure you can see the maybe there's enough space to squeeze by to the left. I wonder what they're doing. It's it's like they're working on the side. Maybe they're going to widen the whole thing. I think that's a mistake. They need to keep it fairly narrow. Cars already go faster than they should on this stretch of road. Not looking good. Maybe to the side of that water truck. We'll see. Ah, boy. Oh, maybe I can go around the back. Thanks. Well, we made it. Okay, well, let's see if I can get going again. All right. Whew. Still climbing. Again, this is Crusher Canyon, and I used to ride my road bike up this way. Wow. And I was in better shape then. But it was quite the climb. This is the part that kind of ups the ante. I know you can't tell from your perspective, but the incline increases rather substantially. I'm bumping up the pedal assist. I'm now in sport mode. If you have a Bosch system, you know that essentially there's 5 levels: no assist, eco assist, tour, sport, and turbo. Most of the time I do eco and tour. Seldom sport or turbo. Even when I'm going up this hill, on a good day, I'll keep it in eco or tour. And I can gear down and climb it easily, albeit at a very slow pace. Up back into the wind, you probably can see the branches on the trees. This is orchard country up here. You can see that on the left-hand side of the road. It's pretty nice riding out here. Very, very little traffic. My goodness, even though I have a dead cat on my microphone, this wind is so strong. I hope you can hear her. And not just the rush of the wind. Yeah, so we came up Crusher Canyon and we turned right on Maple Way, and Maple Way just turns to the left This area out here that's farmed with orchards and what have you is so pleasant to ride through. It's nice and green. And, well, it's all because of irrigation, obviously. I don't know if you could see it. To the left of me was the top of Mount Adams, one of the tallest mountains here in Washington State. Now we're turning on Selah Heights Road. At any rate, getting back to what I was saying, it's all because of irrigation. And otherwise, this would be just brown, arid scrubland, which makes you think and ponder the future. At least it should. Different aquifers drying up. There's one in eastern Washington that's hydrologists say is pretty close to being dried out. There's the Ogallala Aquifer in the middle of the country that is, well, that's drying out too. You just kind of have to wonder, and probably should worry, about what's going to happen in the future, the not too distant future. Now, I don't know where the water is pulled from to irrigate up here. Might not be any of those, but doesn't change the problem, doesn't alleviate it. I suspect, not to go on about this for too long, but the hops farmers, oh gosh, all of them, have to be concerned. Nice little place over there. Continuing up. Didn't I tell you this was going to be a nice ride out here? We're just taking our time. Can you see Mount Adams over there? I don't know if it's above the trees or not. Still quite a bit of snow. We had a pretty wet and cold spring. Even into early June, we were saying, what the heck? Where's our summer? Right next to me, pear trees. Pear trees? Yeah, they're pear trees. I love good pears, but they are so hard to find. This orchard notwithstanding, It's hard to find good pears. Whoops. Still doing 8 miles an hour. We haven't slowed down too much. All right, we've crested the climb. And we're headed down the other side. You can see how brown the hills are around these little pockets of green. Kind of reinforces what I was talking about before. Gets very windy here because we're in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. And, well, actually, it's even windier in a town north of here called Ellensburg. But, you know, it's very, very sunny, very, very warm here. And when the weather is cooler and wetter on the other side of the mountains, and in the mountains, obviously, the winds start rushing down the mountainside, and it really picks up. That's the very reason that windsurfing used to be such a popular thing. Now it's kite surfing, but down on the Columbia River near Hood River, you may not be familiar with it, but if you're of an age and you were into windsurfing or kite surfing, you'd probably know about it. Anyway, it's on the Columbia, the Hood River area. Big wind down there. All right. I think rather than going farther out into the country, we're going to just turn to the right here and head more towards Selah and start working our way back. Don't you just love it? It's great. Now, the only downside to this is that this road is a little more heavily traveled. And you just never know what people are thinking or not thinking as they come up behind you. Hopefully, like this person, they're a little bit patient. There we go. Awesome. Well, I have never been out in this part before. So I'm kind of guessing, hoping it'll go through. We're going to try Spires Road to the right. Looking promising so far. Oh my, those old trailers gotta be hot. I know, because when I was a kid, we lived in something very similar to that for a good portion of my life. Looked like an alpaca out there. Well, you can see this is kind of small farm land. People have enough land to keep a couple of horses, a couple of cows. And you see that dog? Just, yeah, really interested in me. Glad they have a nice fence. Lots of cows over there off my right shoulder. This is nice. I'm glad we came this way. Although I'm not getting any exercise because it's all a gradual downhill. We're doing 22, coasting down the hill. I need to put some foam or something in my front bag. It's got a hard bottom, and with the few things I've got in there are bouncing around, creating a racket, just kind of wrecking the ambiance, if you know what I mean. Well, this has turned out to be quite nice. It looked like before I was going to have traffic bearing down on me, but so far, it's cool. speed zone ahead, 30 miles an hour. Well, I'm just under that. Right now I'm at 28, picking up a little bit of speed. That's going to stop. I can see we're going to start climbing. And here we are back in Selah, North Selah, I would guess. Those are some bright shorts. Look at this. Back in town, passing Trump 2024. Yes, indeedy. Wow. Some small little places. Now there are some big houses up on the hillside. I don't know exactly how to get there. And I should actually be watching where I'm going rather than gazing off at the sights. Oh, this is where we are. This is the road that I'm coming up to, which I don't know the name of, is a road that I come down quite often, and I wondered about this. Huh. Okay. Well, that was a nice loop. And I've ridden this street many times. You might recognize this as the street that leads up to Crusher Canyon that we went up earlier. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that before. There was a sign back there. Cell phone use prohibited, $250 fine. This is a school zone here. I have never ever seen that anyplace. Can't imagine if do they have somebody standing on the corner there or on the street. Enforcing that? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't think people should be using their cell phones. I mean, after all, the law does say you're not supposed to, but people do anyway. You know, even though I don't have to stop for a stop sign, this being Washington State, in a situation like that, I always try to wave them through, because you just never know whether they know the law or not. And likely to run you down. So speaking of that, I've mentioned it in passing in a number of different videos that here in Washington State and Oregon and California too, I think, I'm not positive, I shouldn't say that, but Idaho for sure, because that's kind of where it started, stop can be treated as a yield sign, and it goes for traffic lights too, provided, you know, you're not impacting other people. Skunk somewhere around here. Anyway, not impacting drivers or what have you. You can roll right through. And I know some people are going to say, well, you're supposed to be, you know, cautious and slow down. And says, well, you know, if I can see, there's nothing in the law that says how quickly you're supposed to proceed through. So if it's wide open and you can see that there's nobody there, my speed impacts nobody. So for people who live in locations where you don't have that law, keep that in mind. Just because you're not fortunate enough doesn't mean that I'm breaking the law or in some way threatening e-biking. Oh, whoa, a new microbrewery going in. It's called the Outskirts. Wow, that's quite the investment going in there. New barn being built, that's pretty damn cool. Gonna have to check that out when I get home. So we are on the Greenway, the Yakima Greenway, and you can see that it parallels I-82, and it is not a pleasant ride, not at all. I see those guys a lot. Anyway, it's not a pleasant ride along here. And actually, I kind of misspoke a little bit. We're not quite to I-82. That's coming up. This is just the road that's coming out of Selah, and it's going to meet up with I-82 up ahead a little bit. It's loud. Fortunately, it's short. rather pleasant in that that wind that I was talking about earlier, that I was riding into going up Crusher Canyon, is now, well, it's died somewhat, but it's now at my back. So it's nice in that regard.
You know, I love gadgets. And I really like this.
And we're crossing the Yakima River.
Every once in a while, if I'm not paying attention,
And there's somebody fly fishing down there.
Hopefully but it's really irritating. I can't figure out why it does it. Did search on Google, and nothing that I so far have been able to find.
You know, I love gadgets.
Still on the Greenway, headed back into town, paralleling the Yakima River.
And I really like this 360 camera, but every once in a while, if I'm not paying attention,
popular trail,
I notice that it has shut
various
off,
parts.
and I have to, hopefully I'm catching it quickly enough so you're not
It's
missing too much, but it's really
run
irritating.
by private
And I can't figure out
foundation.
why it does it.
As far as I know, the city
Did search on Google, and
or the county, neither
nothing
one
that
of
I
them
so
have
far have been able to
any-
find. We're still on the
given any
Greenway,
support to this. It's all
headed back into
private
town,
donations.
paralleling the Yakima River.
Don't flame me if I got that wrong. If you happen to be from this area, no more. But
Very popular trail
I believe that's the case.
in various parts.
The Yakima.
It's
Greenway Foundation
run by a private foundation.
does a pretty good job.
As far as I know, the city
The trail that
or
is,
the county, neither one of them
just with donations.
have given any support to this. It's all private donations.
I wish they could do
now
better,
don't
'cause there are parts of
don't
it that
flame me if I got that wrong.
pretty
If you
rough.
happen to be from this area, no more. But I believe that's the case. The Yakima Greenway Foundation
Yep. Back into the teeth of
does
the
a
wind
pretty
now.
good job of maintaining it,
So
the trail that is, just with
to the right of
donations.
me is the Yakima River, though you can't see it right now because of the trees. And to
I wish they could do better.
the left of
There
me
are
is
parts of it that
Highway 12,
are pretty rough.
which you can't really see either because of that berm. One of the volunteers driving that little, I don't know what you call it, little tractor, little quad, whatever. They carry water.
Yep. Back into the teeth of the wind now. So
I know that some of them
to the right of me is
trim
the Yakima River, though you can't see it right now because
branches
of
that
the trees.
start hanging
And to the left of me is
into the path.
Highway 12, which you can't really see either because of that berm. One of the volunteers driving that little, I don't know what
Oh,
you
yeah.
call it, little tractor, little quad,
Climbing.
whatever. They carry
Wind.
water.
Up ahead,
I know that some of them
the trail on this side of
trim
the highway ends,
branches
We're
that
gonna
start
cross.
hanging
and can you see
into the
Mount Adams
path.
through the signs, and when I'm on the bridge, you'll be able to see it better. Crossing over.
Oh yeah. Climbing. Wind.
Use of green paint is really appreciated.
Up ahead,
There's Mount Adams.
the trail on this side of the highway ends, and we're going to cross. And can you see Mount Adams through the signs? And when I'm on the bridge, you'll be able to see it better. Crossing over. Use of green paint is really appreciated. There's Mount Adams.
And after that, we're back on the greenway on the south side of the highway.
And after that, we're back on the greenway on the south side of the highway. Holy moly. You know, even with an e-bike, when it's blowing, you feel it. I would not want to be riding into this headwind if I was still on my road bike.
fruit warehouses, and just not all that attractive.
I'll be the first to admit there are parts of the Greenway that are not all that scenic. We go by big concrete fruit warehouses and just not all that attractive. We're going to turn up here. Oh, somebody's on a paddleboard out on that little pond. That's kind of unusual. People do come out here to fish, but I've never seen anybody on a paddleboard. And so we've left the Greenway and we're making our way through unattractive warehouses and 24-hour emergency response. They're a wildfire service, and we're back to Fruitvale Avenue, which is an awful road that we have to cross. If you're unfamiliar with the term strode, I can recommend investigating Strong Towns. It's an organization, and there's a book by the same name. That's not the full title. And it goes in and it talks about what stroads are and why they're not desirable if you're in